vinho, meus pensamentos e resolvi aparecer aqui no IGTV para falar sobre o quê? Sobre rock and roll, of course. E primeiro eu quero agradecer a todo mundo que viu o vídeo anterior, que comentou, me incentivou a fazer mais, falou, tá demais, continua contando a história do rock pra gente. E eu fiquei muito feliz, teve uma repercussão muito melhor do que eu havia imaginado. E, gente, eu só tenho a agradecer. E eu confesso que eu não continuei gravando por uma coisa muito séria que aconteceu comigo, chamada crise de preguiça. Mas eu já escrevi muito conteúdo legal, agora só falta, assim, baixar a inspiração pra vir aqui gravar. Mas hoje eu tô inspirada. E hoje eu não vou continuar de forma cronológica, mas eu quero falar de um assunto que eu acho extremamente necessário e que faz link com esse pesadelo comentado no mundo inteiro, que foi o assassinato do George Floyd, que foi um homem negro que teve a sua vida interrompida por causa de um preconceito e extrema crueldade de um policial branco. E, gente, o George não foi o primeiro e eu peço a Deus, e eu acho que o mundo inteiro está mobilizado em oração para pedir que ele seja o último a pagar pelo pensamento preconceituoso das pessoas. E, gente, olha o momento que nós estamos vivendo. Nós estamos passando, assim, por uma pandemia que mata milhares e milhares e milhares de branco, preto, amarelo, rico, pobre, morre do mesmo jeito. Então, espero que isso tudo sirva para as pessoas criarem a consciência de que ninguém é melhor do que ninguém por absolutamente nada. Para quem assistiu o vídeo anterior, sabe que o rock and roll foi a primeira união cultural entre negros e brancos que surgiu em um país extremamente racista, em um período que a pessoa negra corria risco de vida simplesmente pelo fato dela ser negra. E, gente, é uma vergonha ver que 70 anos depois as coisas não mudaram. Hoje eu vim falar de um movimento sensacional chamado Rock Against Racism, em português, Rock contra o Racismo, que surgiu do bode, que a galera já tava desse pensamento irracional de que brancos, negros, asiáticos, enfim, que as pessoas eram diferentes e que existia uma supremacia simplesmente pelo fato da pessoa ter uma pele clara. Em um primeiro momento, o Rock Against Racism seria um festival com a temática antirracista em protesto a um momento muito estranho que o Reino Unido vivia, que foi um momento em que os clãs raciais que defendiam a supremacia branca ganhavam muita força, entre eles a British National Front e vários outros. Mas seria um festival até que em um show super chapado, o Eric Clapton fez um discurso de ódio terrível. Ele foi protestar a favor de um ex-ministro totalmente conservador. Ele disse que as pessoas não podiam permitir que a Inglaterra virasse uma colônia negra e que tinha que mandar embora para casa todos os imigrantes negros e crioulos. E começou.
Wait, no, and you can have any one. So it's very narrow. It's easy to make.
gonna drink it, so I'm just gonna take your word for it.
It's kind of like
I'll tell you what, you tell us, what are the women looking for when they choose a wine?
for me, well,
No, tell the guys, because we don't know how to choose the wine and we want the women to be satisfied.
for me, what is better for me, for my tasting, the woman don't look for a perfect wine. The perfect wine is the wine who you like. Wine actually is an experience, not just wine. It's an experience with who drink wine with you. So I don't know. I like wine. I love wine. So I'm looking for a grape I love, the region I like, the kind of wine I like. But who don't like wine, don't know wine. I don't know. Your girls choose wine. But it's fine.
You just explained to us why it's so difficult for us to understand you and what women want, because you guys don't even know what you want. Like, you know what you want, but you don't know how to explain it to us, you know? Because
I'm explaining,
Yeah, I
but
have
my
no
English is
idea.
not so good.
Oh, it's not the
so
English, it's not the
sorry.
English. It's not that. Where are you from, brother?
Brazil.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna make it up there. Maybe I won't come back.
Maybe.
Maybe, it depends. Maybe I fall in love.
Brunello, this kind of wine, Brunello di Montalcino, is so nice. Have a lot of Brunellos, and it's always a good idea, a Brunello.
So this one is always a good idea.
Brunello is always a good idea.
Maybe that's why it's $40.
But I think $40 is cheap because in Brazil it's almost 1,000 reais, so it's too expensive.
I see.
Now it's in US it's cheap.
Yeah,
Cheaper than Brazil.
because the range of the wines, you have some that are like $7, some that are $60. So it's like, for me, I know absolutely nothing about wine. And I have a bartending license, that's terrible, but I know nothing about wine. But I know that women love wine. So don't want to underperform, you know, because if you get it wrong, then what?
Brunello is always a good idea.
Alright, so that one's always a good idea.
Yeah, that is always a good idea. Brunello di Montalcino is the kind of wine.
Okay, so note, if you have a Brazilian lady, this is a good bet. Apparently, it's very dear in Brazil. Okay, that makes sense. Any other suggestions?
Other suggestion, it's too hot now. Maybe a white wine is good to start your meat, your dinner.
Okay. So start with the white and with the red.
Start with wine because wine is not strong like a red wine.
Good to know. This one's just mine. I like this one. I tasted it in Italy. I loved it. And whenever I get wine, I get it for myself. But usually the women say it's too sweet.
I don't like sweet wine. Sweet wine actually is a dessert wine.
Yeah, the women are always telling me they prefer dry.
Yeah.
So note to self, guys, the women prefer dry wine over sweet.
It's not the woman prefers dry wine. Wine depends of situation, depends of the food to fit with wine. But sweet wine for me is not good. It's not good for my tasting. So sweet wine is maybe to dessert, to end your dinner. Just to end.
So come two-fisted in both hands.
Sorry?
I said come double-fisted. When you come to the date, when you come to pick her up, you bring both, a white and a red.
Yeah.
One for dinner and one for dessert.
No.
wine for dessert is not. It's just cool. Really love wine. Take a shot of sweet wine at the end of the dinner. But I prefer a white wine to start and to drink with a salad or with when you start. How can I say when you
Appetizer.
start? Yeah, and to the rest of the dinner, if you will eat a meal or something strong or pasta, red wine. But if you go with a fish or a white meal, white wine.
No, it sounds good.
You have to fit with what you. Okay.
And these pink
I'm
ones,
shy.
you have to, the audio, that's why you have to be close to remember the audio.
I heard everything. She got it.
Yeah, but
But what?
You heard everything. I'm pretty
iPhone didn't hear you heard.
But why you do it?
What is your name, by the way?
Marina.
Marina, my name is Allende, and I am the host of the podcast Authentic Alphas. And we cover a lot of relationship and dating topics. So we have a lot of men that are struggling to understand women, and women like yourself are interest, obviously. The guys need help. So I'm trying to help, trying to get the questions answered. So I'm like a detective. On the case. Right? Okay, good. We understand. But you should do the podcast with us. What time you enjoy?
A park
A podcast.
podcast. Ah, okay.
Are you doing modeling?
No.
No speaking roles, something like this?
Modeling?
Speaking. Like no acting, hosting.
I was model in my past. I was TV host in my country.
That's what I'm asking.
But a long time ago, but now I'm back.
Baby, you're young. There's no such thing as a long time ago. You don't have a long time ago.
Yeah. But it was a long time ago. Believe me, it was a long time ago.
Okay, I would like to have you as a guest on my show. You tell me if you want to be the only guest or you want to be a guest with other ladies. I don't know if you want to share the spotlight or if you want to be special.
Okay.
That's fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna thank her. What is your name again?
Marina.
Marina.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get your Instagram, and I'm gonna give you a formal invite.
Okay.
And we hope to see you again.
Okay.
You're in the Brickwood area.
Yeah.
Okay, us too. We're in Soma. You know Soma, Brickwood right here. You know the building?
The building.
No, Soma is this one.
No. I don't know.
On the other side of the train.
My building when
No, where we are. It's on
Okay.
the other side of the train.
Okay.
You're in which building?
Near here, but I don't know actually the name of the building.
Are
It's
you
my
busy
first
this
time in
evening?
Miami. Sorry, I don't know where I am. Actually.
Are you busy this evening?
No.
You're not busy this evening.
No.
Okay, we're doing a podcast at 7 o'clock. Wait, shit, what time is it? Yeah, like 7:30. And we have maybe 6 ladies coming.
It's not so good.
No, we just spoke for 15, 20 minutes. I understood you the entire time.
7 minutes. Okay.
We'll do it? Okay. Hopefully we'll see her later on tonight, guys. I don't know, blow kisses, it's much better. Do like, end it like how you ended your TV show. When you're hosting the TV show, how do you say goodbye? In Portuguese, though.
Português. Pessoal, muito obrigada por ficarem aqui com a gente até agora, por entenderem aqui como escolher um vinho, né? Pensando no encontro com as mulheres. E é isso. Um beijo e até a próxima.
What's up, Authentic fam, and welcome back to Authentic Alphas with your boy Allende. So I hope you guys like that little intro that I put together for you. Just keeping it authentic as usual. And that was a little bit of a bonus clip from a gentleman that went ahead and sent a special request. So let's get to what that is real quick. Hey Allende, it's Rick, and I have a request video for you. I've also sent some tuition to your Cash App for a video on how to choose wine for a chick. The situation is I recently had a girl over and offered her drinks. She said she only drank wine, so I gave her some of what a friend had left in my fridge, and she hated it. I felt like she cut the night short because she was disappointed from that point on. I'm not exactly sure why I didn't score or get good results with her, but I am 100% sure that she hated the bottle. LOL. I've been watching your channel for some time, and I'm never bored with the multiple topics you have knowledge and game on. So I was hoping you also know something about having the right drinks ready for ladies. I'm looking forward to your take on it, and thanks for all the advice and game in advance. All right. Well, first, let me thank Rick for that generous donation of $100. Is definitely going to help the channel. We are investing in a lot of equipment right now. Things are hella pricey and hard to come by. So definitely appreciate you for that, Rick. And you are in luck because I actually have a bartending license. So I am pretty familiar with wine and spirits and beverages in general. So what I'm going to go over is basically a combination of information and understanding and strategy that I have based on what I learned in bartending school, as well as general experience with dating women, whether it be going out or having them over or going over their place, and also just straight up research. So I put that clip in there with that beautiful lady from Brazil because it's something that I actually used to do. So instead of just kind of like telling you in this special request video, Rick, I kind of wanted to show you. So how I would kind of maximize that, that errand of picking up a bottle for a lady is I would always try to see, who's the most attractive female, in the grocery store, in the liquor store, or wherever I'm picking up the bottle, whatever that bottle may be. And then I would make conversation with that female, be like, hey, you know what? I have to pick up a bottle for an occasion, and I really don't know what to get, what would you get, being a, attractive lady like yourself? What would you suggest, that I pick up for the females that are going to be at this event, at this soiree? And, that way I can make some conversation, see where she was at. Maybe she was single. Maybe she'd come over for some wine. You know what I'm saying? So definitely try that, guys. Rick, put that in the repertoire, put that in the arsenal. The next time you have a question, feel free to donate, to Allende. Feel free to donate to the channel. I definitely will make a video with my thoughts and my opinions on it, but also I have to be honest with you, that's an opportunity to get to know a beautiful woman. You get what I'm trying to say? So any question you have about women, I don't know what tampon to get. Hey, that's an opportunity to talk to a beautiful woman. Even though it's awkward, you're coming to her saying, listen, I don't know anything about this. Can you help me out? My sister, needs some feminine products. But anyway, let me get into what I have here. And as usual, guys, it will be in the description because I want to make these request videos useful to not only the person that, funded and financed it, but also to the brotherhood in general, right? Each one teach one, and we all can learn. So you guys are about to learn a little something about choosing wine for the ladies, and go ahead and thank Rick, okay? So let me just get into it because I got it in my notes. Let me see, what do I got here? Okay, so how to choose wine for women. All right, so number one, what I want you guys to have on your mind is purpose, right? What is the purpose? What is the occasion? Why do you need wine? What's the event? Are you inviting a young lady over? Trying to set the mood, a little bit of romance? Are you meeting some friends? And you want to, bring some wine for the ladies? Are you going to maybe somewhat of a professional, outing or event? So keep that in mind. The next thing I want you to think of is budget. These people or this person, how much do you think it's worth to you, to bring a bottle of wine? Okay, that's important too, right? So a bottle of wine could be cheap as $4 or $5. You can get a bottle of wine for like $5.99, or you can get a very expensive bottle of wine that's in the hundreds. You know what I mean? So budget is important to keep in mind also. And then the body, the body of the wine, the richness of it, how thick, how heavy, is that wine hitting? And also the type of wine. So let's talk about some of those things, right? So decide what the occasion is and what your wine budget should be to reflect that. The next thing is, they're always doing fucking construction out here. So the next thing is the body, right? I was talking about the body. So typically, the more alcohol or the higher the alcohol content of the wine is usually, the heavier that the body is going to be. And when you're dealing with body, you kind of want to match it up with what you're eating, if you're eating, or have you eaten. So if you haven't eaten in a while, you probably want to go with a lighter body. And if you're going to eat something that is light, you probably want to go with a lighter body. You know what I mean? So, for example, you want to put white wines with like seafood, maybe poultry if it's not like, heavily seasoned, or if there isn't a lot of other things added to the chicken or the turkey or the duck, you might want to go with a light wine. But seafood, you definitely should be thinking white wine most of the time, unless you happen to know this female prefers red. Now, when you're dealing with like ribs, steak, burgers, you definitely want to go more towards the red selection, generally speaking. All right, so kind of keep that in mind, guys. Red meat, red wine. Seafood is usually white, so white wine. Easy to remember, okay? What next? Now, when you're picking the type of wines, you're generally looking for either things that are sweet, Moscatos, or you're looking for things that are kind of, dry. To me, I think it's kind of bitter. I don't know. I'm not big on wine, but if I am, it's definitely going to be a sweet wine. So that's kind of how the types of wines might vary, or at least in my opinion. And you can describe it as sweet, or you could describe it as fruity. And then the opposing would be, either dry or earthy. Just keep that in mind. What else? So when we're talking about, I guess, the type, another thing that would be a factor is where the wine comes from. Not only what country, but what region in that country. Like, for example, you could be drinking domestic wine, it's American, but typically speaking, the better American wines are obviously going to come out of California. But here's the thing, if the wine just simply says California on the label, California is a pretty big state, which means it could have came from any multitude of vineyards, or it could have a collection of grapes that come from different vineyards, and then now they all have to make it into that blend. And what if some of those vineyards aren't really, quality? They're not really putting out quality grapes, quality vineyards. Then what happens? That gets thrown into the blend, and now the wine is suspect. You know what I mean? So when making that decision, when you're looking at the region, try to look for a very specific region on the label. Instead of the label just saying, oh, it's from Italy. Try to look for a bottle that's going to tell you what part of Italy. They tend to be a higher quality wine. Just saying. And if you really want to get deep into that, you obviously could do some research on what regions have better wine than others. And again, that would make you a little bit more equipped to pick wine, which would make you look like an experienced, responsible man, which is sexy to the ladies, right? Because you know more about it than she does. And you can make suggestions. You come off as a distinguished gentleman, and that's what we want, guys. We want to lead these women, not follow these women. All right, so we covered that. So just typically speaking, the smaller the region is going to be, the less vineyards involved. So it's going to be the more consistent and the more concentrated that flavor should be. All right. Let's see. So look for preferably smaller regions of origin. Okay, so the next thing I want to do before I get to ultimately what my advice would have been for Rick to avoid what happened, I'm going to talk about the things you don't do, because I think that's more important. And the reason why I say that is, you can't just tell somebody, oh, this is the wine that you pick for women. Are you crazy? Wine comes in just as much a variety as women themselves. So there is no wine that most women like. And it took me a while to figure that out because I had a similar question to Rick. And that's what I found after really, really trying to get the answer to that enigma was, hey, you know what? You ask 10 different women what wine they like, you know what you're going to get? You guessed it. 10 different answers. So this list that I'm going to go over, I think, is the most important thing to keep in mind, guys. So I want you to get your notepads out, pay attention, and let's prevent ourselves from looking stupid. All right. So this is going to be my personal top 10 rookie mistakes, or better yet, the adverse of it, the reverse of the top 10 mistakes, what not to do and what you should do. Okay. So never do. And a friend of mine just said, like, did this recently because I had some girls over to do a podcast, to do a show, and you know, we picked up drinks, and that first one that I have here, he did that. I had to bark on him real quick, like, dude, what the fuck? What is you doing, bro? Your man was putting ice with wine. I was like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, oh no. He's like, the wine is warm, bro. I don't want to give it to her warm. I was like, bro, you do not put ice in wine, man. All right. So that's rule number 1. Never put ice in wine. It waters down the flavor. So always remember to chill the wine ahead of time in the freezer, 10 to 20 minutes, but do not store in the fridge for long periods of time. This is important, guys. You don't want to just like have an unopened bottle of wine in the fridge. You don't want to do that. But you do want to put it in the freezer about 20, 15, 10 minutes before you're going to serve it. So when you got a chick on the way or whatever, you might want to remember, throw the wine in there real quick, right? So that's just part of being organized, being well planned and well prepared. Remember, preparation, bro. Preparation wins the game, all right? So that was number 1. Number 2, do not call sparkling wine champagne. Because if you do that and it's not actually champagne, that girl's going to think you're an idiot. She's not going to tell you you're an idiot, but she's going to think, what a fucking amateur. So you don't want to look like an amateur, guys. You always want to look like you know what the hell you're doing, even when you don't. All right? So do not call all sparkling wine champagne. Champagnes are specifically from the Champagne region of France, and that's just outside of Paris. So now you can sound like you know a little something. You're better off correcting her. If she's like, oh yeah, this is champagne, be like, oh no, baby, this is sparkling wine. Actually, champagne is only from the Champagne region of France. Huh? Yeah, see, a little bit of mansplaining is actually sexy. Women say they hate it. No, they hate that guy. Keep that in mind. It's not what women say, it's what they actually mean with what they say. So when women say, oh, I hate when men mansplain, what she's saying is, I hate when that guy tries to explain something to me. All right, so number 3. Do not keep wine open for more than 1 to 2 days unless you have a wine saver, in which case the bottles can be saved for about 3 to 4 days. So basically there isn't no shelf life on previously opened wine. And that could be part of the reason, Rick, why that lady hated that wine. I'm not sure how long that guy left it in the fridge or whatever, but you said recently. I don't know the time frame on that. You weren't specific, but generally speaking, bro, you do not want to be drinking wine that's been opened more than 2 days ago. And like I said, with the wine saver, you could probably push it to 4, but generally speaking, it's just tacky to be reserving wine. All right, so try to stay away from that. That's a bum move. All right, so where am I now? Okay, we're on number 4. Make sure to properly use a wine glass. Okay, this is very important, so I had to break it down into ABC on them. All right, this has got 3 parts to it. All right, so make sure to properly use wine glasses. Okay, so A, never use another type of glass or cup. This one is almost as silly as putting ice in wine. Bro, do never serve a female wine in any other glass other than a wine glass. All right, I'm going to explain to you why in a second here. Okay, so B, do not pour past the widest part of the glass, or sorry, the widest of the height. So wherever the height of the glass is, you're going to see that it kind of bellies out, right? There's a reason why wine glasses are designed like that, why they get smaller as they go to the top. So when you're filling up the wine glass, you actually don't want to fill it. Okay, you want to put about 1/3, maybe a little bit more than 1/3. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, but then like it looks weird. It looks like you didn't even put any wine in her glass. Exactly. You're just gonna have to go ahead and give her some more. As she drinks it, you're gonna have to say, hey, would you like some more wine? But you want to put about a third in there. So real quick, let me just explain why. All right, so the way wine glasses are designed, they have that wideness so that air can get to the wine, right? That's very important. It's just part of how wine operates. I'm gonna get a little bit more into that as we go down the list, but just duly note that never put it in anything other than a wine glass, guys, okay? So let me get to the last part of that, which is C, always hold the wine glass from the stem. So I know you guys see people holding a wine glass like this. And yes, it is sexy. I prefer to hold it like this. I think it looks pretty suave, pretty GQ. The thing is, hold it from the stem. It's there for a reason. Now, the reason why you want to hold it from the stem is because wine is very sensitive to temperature. When you hold it like this, your hand now is making the wine warm. When you hold it from the stem, it's going to stay chilled. Duly noted. All right. So let's move on to number 5. Do not store wine in warm places. Always keep it cool and in dry places, preferably a wine cabinet or a wine cellar. Now think about that. Why do wine coolers or cellars exist? Other alcohols can be just simply kept in a bar, right? But for wine, you need a cellar. Okay. Why is that? Like I just said, very sensitive to temperature. All right, guys, let's rock and roll. Let's get down to number 6. Okay, do not smell the wine cork. Don't ever do that, bro. If you're at a restaurant and, the young lady orders some wine, you drink some wine with the lady, and the waiter comes and opens up the wine there and they're going to put the cork down next to you because it's, it's customary, standard. Now, when they put that cork down next to you, that's really just to let you know that they just opened that wine for the first time. It's not for you to sniff it and smell it and, don't do that. That's another amateur move. So if you want to gauge the flavor, the way you do that is like how you see at the wine tasting when they're like, you're doing that. Yeah, so that's what you want to do. All right, if you're trying to gauge the flavor, slowly swirl the wine in the glass, put your nose about an inch away from said rim of the glass, and inhale the aroma. That's what you do, guys. Number 7. You want to let your wine breathe, okay? Remember, like I was telling you earlier, that glass is designed that way for a reason, so air can get in there, but at the same time, it can't get out. I know that sounds kind of like contradictory, but the idea is for the air to go in there, okay, and mix with the wine, but not come out too quickly that you can't savor it. Look, I don't know, I don't design wine glasses, but that's what they taught us in bartending school, okay? So as it aerates, the flavors and the odors are released. All right, guys? So let the wine breathe a little bit, meaning don't drink it right away. When you pour her wine, you let it sit for a little bit. Now, the things that I'm telling you, women don't know. Women don't know. They just know that they like wine, okay? So when you do that and she reaches for that glass, immediately say, no, let it sit, baby. Let your wine breathe. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. Okay, so now let's move on to number 8. Never present wine with a screw on top, okay? You never want to give women wine that has like some type of screw on top or twist off cap or whatever. You always want it to be the one with the cork, all right? Never present that to ladies, okay? That's a cheap bottle of wine. It's easily identified as a cheap bottle of wine, so she's automatically going to have an underwhelming experience. Even if the wine isn't that bad. I'm not saying the wine is going to be bad. I'm just saying it's obviously cheap wine, and then because of that, she might be like, So, just saying, guys, I want you guys to look good. I want you guys to look your best. You know what I mean? And like I said earlier, women don't always tell you where you've screwed up at. They'll just keep it to themselves and go laugh at you with their girlfriends. So I'm trying to prevent you guys from looking like amateurs, all right? Okay, so number 9, never rush picking a bottle on or for a first date. Even if you already know, okay, which you're going to go with, okay, it's better to embrace the choosing process and the experience with her. Remember, women want to make everything an experience, all right? So in all things, you don't want to rush it. The same way you don't want to rush it with sex, you don't want to just put it in. No, man, you want to enjoy the whole gamut of the experience. You know, the foreplay all the way through, you know what I'm saying, till you about to bust. You want to enjoy the whole damn thing, right? Okay, same thing when you go out to eat with her, you go out to have drinks with her, you want to enjoy every moment, every experience, right? Every process. So same thing with the wine. Take your time. You already know in your head what you're going to go with, but you sit there and bounce the ball back and forth. What do you think about this one? What do you think about the Chardonnay? What do you think about the... Yeah, you already know what you're going to pick, all right? So the last thing right here, okay, and this is very important to Rick because we see that you already kind of fumbled the ball when it came to the wine, right? So the last one, number 10, never serve a woman wine for the first time from a previously opened or used bottle. Never, okay? The first you drink together should be the first the bottle is opened. All right, guys? All right, so I'm about done. I'm going to close out. I think I gave you hella game on some wine, and I know you ain't getting it nowhere else in the manosphere, so you're welcome. You know, we don't, nothing's off limits over here, guys. If it has to do with men, if it's a concern of men, I'm down to talk about it. But just heading out on this one, and I think this would have really made a difference for Rick, and I've done it many of times. I know it'll make a difference for all you guys. I want you guys to get in the right frame of thinking. Remember, everything's mindset. All right, so the last thing I want to leave out here with is, when trying to determine which wine she will like best, do not hesitate to ask one of her friends which is her favorite, and also ask them to promise not to tell her that you asked. Now, they're gonna tell her, which is neither here nor there. Hopefully they at least tell her after she's already enjoyed that evening with you. Okay, it's gonna get you points either way, because it just means that you cared and you pay attention to detail. So guys, don't be afraid to jump in one of her friends' DMs and just ask real quick, or even put the comment on a picture. But if you're gonna put the because you know, some of you probably thinking, Allende, what if I DM her and she doesn't respond? So what you do is you put it on a picture, but you put the comment on an old ass picture way down months ago, so that she'll see it in her notifications, but her friend won't see it and be like, why is this guy asking you? Oh snap, that's what he's doing. If you put it on the most recent picture, that would just be stupid. So yeah, guys, if you don't know any of her friends, go on her Instagram, look at a friend that she's tagged in a photo, or look at a friend that's tagged her in a photo, and just say, hey, you guys look like you spend a lot of time together. I'm gonna meet up with your friend, and I was just wondering if you knew what her favorite wine is. Don't be afraid to ask 2 or 3 of her friends. That way you get a expedient answer. And I'm pretty much out of here with this one, guys. I hope it was useful. Hell, I know it was useful because it's been useful to me. Any other requests you guys got, you know the deal. Email me, send that damn donation, support the channel. That's pretty much about it. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, which is always right around the corner. I'm pretty damn consistent. All right, let's keep it tight. Respect and love the brotherhood. Keep it authentic. Peace.